This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
PNG lagging behind in indicators. Women leaders discuss ways to voice their concerns. And farmer skills enhanced through Resource Center. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Malcolm Waira. Thank you for joining us. As a resource-rich country, PNG is lagging behind on the Human Development Index Global Indicator. This statement was made by the United Nations Resident Coordinator to PNG, Richard Howard.
Coordinator Howard elaborated on the evident challenges of PNG as a resource-filled developing nation.
It's been a rough year, right? We started with January 10th, and we saw what happens when there are opportunities, when law and order may loosen, and what happens. And clearly, what happened on January 10th, may have been many triggers, but the raw underlying facts of the needs of families for basic goods, the needs for food, the cost, inflation, the challenges that family faces are very real. And we just cannot deny that. And it is surprising that a country that is so wealthy with natural resources and had such incredible growth since 2009 has made virtually no progress on human development indicators in health, education, water and sanitation, access to electricity and clean water. Even compared to the poorest of the poor countries of the world, PNG does not fare well.
The Human Development Index is a summary measure of a country's average achievement in the three basic aspects of human development, this being life expectancy, educational attainment, and income level. Mr. Howard further stated,
Development indicators in PNG are an outlier in the world because the country is wealthy enough that those indicators should be much better than they are. Now, of course, one could argue, oh, well, it's a natural resource country. So in natural resource countries, they tend to lag in human development. But even compared to other resource-based economies, PNG is much lower than those. So the country simply is not delivering basic services on the level that it should with the income that it has. And this is the root cause of a lot of the conflict and instability that we have in the country.
He made these remarks in a press conference announcing the commemoration of the International Women's Day, expressing that to see an improvement in this regard, women in Papua New Guinea should have access to equal participation in nation building, especially in the parliament. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
Acknowledging that women's participation is essential to the progress of a country, workforce barriers for women in PNG is a hindrance in achieving national development to full capacity. This was the sentiment shared by UN Women in commemoration of the International Women's Day.
In the interest to encourage and enhance women participation in nation building globally, especially within the formal sector, a principal policy had been created between the UN Women and Global Compact, a non-binding United Nations pact to get businesses and firms worldwide to adopt sustainable and socially responsible policies.
Companies that are joining and signing up to those principles, there's a set of 7 principles addressing workplace sexual harassment, looking at getting women out of the lower cadre and middle cadre more into the boardroom. There are about 7 principles. So these principles enable those companies demonstrate their accountability towards women.
The UN country rep emphasized that indeed sexual harassment is a barrier for women in the workforce.
This is a country where we know that issues around sexual harassment and gender-based violence are rife, and therefore it's important that companies put in place those measures within the company to tackle sexual harassment.
Identifying that another barrier for women to excel in the formal sector is in regards to qualification. She further elaborated on an initiative the UN Women will begin work on called the Second Chance Education.
At some point in stage within the educational trajectory or journey of young girls, we have only about 53% completing secondary education. So what happens to the rest, half of women? So there are principles called in the Second Chance Education where it can be skilling, it can be given women access to those male-dominated enterprises or skills. For example, mechanics, where it is lucrative, but you don't see women there. Or like electricians, you hardly see women there. So giving women training, and so that they can access some of those lucrative areas and begin to contribute more concretely to the national economy.
Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
Book Bilon Pikinini celebrated World Book Day at all its library learning centers around the country with their 5-year-old students all dressed as their favorite book characters. World Book Day, shared on the same day as International Women's Day, was celebrated where Book Bilon Pikinini advocated on the importance of ensuring that no girl is left behind and that all children have the opportunity to become literate. World Book Day reminded everyone has a story to tell and an experience where everyone can learn from books. Book Bilon Pikinini expressed gratitude towards the parents around the country for providing the children with such wonderful costumes to enter a world of fantasy. Governor for Central Province Rufina Peter had a conversation with women working in the space of human rights to discuss on women, peace and security, focusing on gun violence in the highlands and the internal displacement of women and children. The conversation is aimed at enabling the governor to be an effective voice of the vulnerable on the floor of Parliament.
Victims of rape. The governor for Central Province concerned about the safety of women, children and youth due to what seemed to be a lack of timely assistance from political leaders. Communicated with Ruth Kisam, a community organizer and human rights activist, to bring together women and organizations who work in this space to share their on-the-ground experiences to enable her to be an effective voice of the vulnerable. Governor Rufina Peter said she don't just represent women in Parliament as women parliamentarian, but the perspective that she brings on board is that of a woman, and it comes from experiences a women leader and mother which differs from her male counterparts.
If there's a conflict and so many people are displaced, what are the immediate response mechanisms? What does it look like? So those are some of my thoughts, and not having the information and the experiences, hearing it for myself, it's harder for me to stand on the floor of Parliament and talk. But once I hear how these things in Enga, the massacre, how the women and children fared, from people who are actually there, women who actually experienced it, then it gives me that perspective to speak and speak with authority because I know, because I was told or informed. And that's what caused me to get in touch with Ruth and have these hearings.
During the discussions, it was alluded that the worsening trend of violence and tribal fights is because of several factors, including weaponry where tribes had access to hired gunmen, and the use of smartphones and social media, which speeds up the spreading of information. This was highlighted by Ruth Kisam.
We're talking about the displacement of women and children. The majority of them, where are they? Do we have an IDP that covers them? Because I know that there's a plan that has been worked on by the Department of Planning. Is that already enforced for the internally displaced people?
Dialogue on the issues for women's security and peace will continue towards the end of every month in the lead up towards ultimately putting together a national plan which will be brought before Parliament. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Central Provincial Police Commander Laimo Asi has appealed to all the youths in the province to lay down arms and be part of the change in their communities with the Peace and Reconciliation Program initiated by the provincial community.
With the ongoing law and order issues faced not only in Central Province but across all provinces in PNG, the Central Provincial Police Commander is calling on all youths to change their mindset for a positive change in the province and the country as a whole.
I want to appeal to the people, especially youth within the province. Lay down your arms, come forward so that you can be counted and be part of the change that can happen in the community. That's very, very important.
Central PPC confirmed that mothers and children lack health services due to criminal activities in the Central Province.
Because as I've mentioned here, the health of the children going to the hospital, mothers going to the hospital, children going to the school are all hampered because of criminal activities. So for the province to prosper, wherever you are, those youths who are still having this mentality of involved in criminal activities, you stop it. Because the policing also have improved within the province by way of attendance of crimes. Is very effective at the moment, despite of the problems that we are facing, logistics. But my men are always on alert. So they will be coming to you to, in fact, arrest on you if you continue to do this. What currently is happening within the province.
He said the Central Provincial Government is ready to assist the youths.
So I'm asking, make an appeal to the youths in the community, come forward, bring your drugs that you are using. Growing marijuana within Central Province is very, very, it's a damaging the youths at the moment, and lay down your arms. Come forward so that our good provincial governor with the provincial executive council only look survey finish. They want to assist, but how can they assist when we, the youths in the community, are still holding on to the firearms, continue to using drugs, homebrew, which is not very good, and it's not part of Central Province attitude and habit. The new things coming in, destroying the province.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. The Don Bosco Secondary School in Vanimo, West Sepik Province, is now delivering its service efficiently through the solar lights power system provided by the European Union through its trade program.
The school, since its establishment in 1995, has been an all-boys school until recently in 2012 that saw the inclusion of female students. DBSS Principal Majuna Chamilo said the school since its inception relied heavily on PNG Power Limited for electricity to the extent of cutting school hours short when there is power disruption by PPL.
Because relying only on PNG Power and being in a small center like West Sepik, Vanimo, we do experience a lot of power disruptions. And when that happens, when there's no power, we are not able to use everything that runs on power. So it was a very big disadvantage for us. But when the trade program under the EU, when they came in, they installed the solar system. It was a very big help for the school.
Charles Telmai, a DBSS teacher who has been teaching for 9 years in the institution, pointed out that teachers spend their own money to facilitate teaching during power disruptions. He said the solar system has elevated the school since the EU Strait has supplied them with 106 solar panels and a resource center containing 15 computers in 2023.
It has increased and improved learning. And I believe over the years, the school will be able to meet the requirements for the division and in terms of learning. I recommend that schools around the province, especially secondary schools in the remote of West Sepik, be granted such facility so they don't encounter such setbacks, especially in the power.
Delilah Babia said the EU Straight program has enhanced their learning in the classrooms.
ITU, the resource center, it is very helpful because when we were in the year 9 and year 10, we normally share laptops. We don't have labs and we don't go inside the labs. We share laptops between around 10 students.
Also benefiting from the solar system are the surrounding communities in Vanimo Green District, Ward 7 LLG. The principal said during blackouts, the school permits the local communities to access power in the school to charge their electronics. Malinta Yopolo, National EMTV News, Vanimo.
Following the installation of 106 solar panels in Don Bosco Secondary School in Vanimo, a resource center was also set up in the school by the International Telecommunications Union through EU Straight PNG program in 2023.
The resource center in DBSS contains 15 computers initially supplied to the school for computing lessons. The resource center provides basic computing training and education on e-commerce to the local farmers.
I have learned a lot from LMS, which we go further online, studying and using online, which I am fortunate to have such a training through Dr. Kevin and Henry, who have created those apps that we are now using basically online. We just go online and open the app and read through, study, and then learn from there. Instead of we just go through using paper and all this stuff, but instead we use this online. Just press on the button and then we use everything online.
Mr. Watum said after undertaking the training himself, he went back to his village and conducted the training.
The importance of imparting into our farmers right back at the village level. That's where we can create opportunity for our farmers to market their produce and then showcase their produce to seek further market to come and buy their produce and all those.
Dr. Kevin Solian highlighted that trainers who go back to the remote villages to conduct training must adapt to the different settings and scarcity of resources.
One was something me like talk lo training to lo cyber training and Mr. Watom. He has a village setting, a house bush material resource center. So we are here in a school resource center. He's able to run the same trainings in a resource center, 50 participants. And broke him kisimo laptop lo line put him or work him same something. Cost difference.
Malinta Yopolo, National EMTV News, Vanimo.
A discussion was held recently between the Coffee Industry Corporation and the Central Provincial Government for a memorandum of understanding to help coffee farmers in the province. Under the MOA, a new coffee mill will be set up in Central Province within the next 4 years, which will allow for the processing of green bean to parchment coffee. As discussed in the recent meeting between CIC and Central Provincial Administration, under the MOA, a local certification and inspection export office will be set up in the province to assist in exports instead of sending it to Leh. India's High Commissioner has begun by doing charity work here in Papua New Guinea in celebration of its country's 75th Republican Independence celebration for this year 2023.
During charity work recently, the Indian High Commissioner, His Excellency Inbasekar Sundaramurthy, revealed what other initiatives the Indian government is intending to do for Papua New Guinea as it being a country in the global south.
Is that India will do bigger things under FIPIC Summit. FIPIC Summit is the India-Pacific Island Summit for which Prime Minister Modi came last year in May. We are going to shortly supply sea ambulances. We are also going to supply dialysis equipment to Pomjan and to a couple of hospitals. And we are also planning to supply desalination facilities.
Commissioner Sundaramurthy said that they began the initiatives in January by donating educational items for the unfortunate children through the St. Joseph Nuns Parish Mission Outreach Program, which they built lavatory in schools in the Hela province, as well as classrooms in various schools in the nation's capital, amongst others.
Government gift. No money will be made on this. This is philanthropy at its best. So this is the occasion. So more to come will come. So every month we are choosing a theme to do for philanthropy. So I want media to cover these events. We are wanting to show in a way that we will try to do whatever we can do.
This week they donated school items to the St. Joseph's Nuns Orphanage, building materials for a classroom at the Gordon Secondary School, and tailored suits for the Department of Foreign Affairs senior officers. Tamara Agavi, National EMTV News.
India's High Commissioner in Basakar, Sundaramurthy, revealed that they are offering a free IT scholarship to Papua New Guineans to study in India. The IT scholarship will be covered by the Indian High Commission representing the Indian government. The IT scholarship covers tuition, living expenses, and traveling expenses, removing financial barriers and opening doors to world-class universities and programs. The scholarship gives a chance to Papua New Guineans to impact oneself, their community, which is not just academically rewarding, but an investment for a brighter future. The High Commissioner in Basakar made a call out to interested Papua New Guineans to email the Indian High Commission for applications. National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Belinda Guasamun, co-captain of the PNG Orchids, and teammate Gail Ness shared the experience in the PNG Orchids team.
Representing your country on an international level is quite daunting, having to carry your country's name in professional games. These were the sentiments shared by the PNG national women's rugby team, the Orchids. During yesterday's launch of the partnership between the Queensland Rugby League and the PNG Rugby Football League, co-captain of the PNG Women's Orchids team, Belinda Guasamun, shared her proudest moment whilst donning the Orchids jersey.
Privileged and being able to travel down to Australia to play and also play at the World Cup. And all their players so dedicated and consistency supporting me to my monitoring program. I am so excited to see more women rugby league players to have this opportunity and to play rugby in this country and to have this opportunity through our own domestic national competition.
Sharing the same sentiment, teammate Gail Manove shared her proudest moment as well.
The proudest moment was to play Prime Minister stepping against the Australian Stingers. That was my memorable experience to play at the national level and become a vice captain.
When asked what goes through her mind every time she takes the field to represent her country, an emotional Manove replied,
I play for my family, my Bendal village in Goroka, represent the islands women and Papua New Guinea.
Tamara Agavi, Trukai Sports.
Island Boxing Promotion announces its dedication to advance the landscape of amateur and professional boxing in Papua New Guinea. As part of its ongoing efforts, Island Boxing Promotions will be rolling out a series of initiatives, including talent scouting programs, coaching clinics, and promotional events aimed at nurturing the next generation of boxing champions. Lay's softball mixed slow pitch comes to an end this weekend in Lay, boasting one of the biggest turnaround after 3 years of hibernation.
Lay softball president Lindsay Pulu acknowledged the efforts put together to unite the code once more over the last 2 months, adding this has become the stamp leading into proper season fast pitch 2024. In today's last of the pool matches, Pulu said the games to watch would obviously be the main game between competition leaders IS&T Manolos and Najab Reds. Pulu said results of today will determine the top 2 grand final playoffs tomorrow. Finals format tomorrow will feature all 8 teams competing, starting from the bottom up with 8th and 7th placing, followed by 6th and 5th placing, then 4th and 3rd placing. Pulu also said that the grand final will be between the 1st and 2nd placing team for the bragging rights as the 2024 Lay softball mixed slow pitch champions. Plans are underway for a break after tomorrow's finals and to return in 2 weeks' time for an Easter slow pitch tournament. Pulu said that so far the turnout has been tremendous with the slow pitch mix challenge, encouraging participation from a mixture of all ages. The committee is encouraging business houses in Lay to come on board and partner with the Lay Softball Association to bring out the sporting code in Lay this year. Tamara Agavi, Trukai Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
The weather forecast for the next 24 hours. For the southern region, Port Moresby City, cloudy period with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Daru, showers and thunderstorm. Kerama, some showers and possible thunderstorms. Alotau, few showers and possible thunderstorms. Popondetta, some showers and possible thunderstorms. Looking at the Momase region, Lay City, few showers. Medang, brief showers and possible thunderstorms. Wewak, few showers and possible thunderstorms. Vanimo, few showers. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, some showers and possible thunderstorms. Kavieng, few showers and possible thunderstorms. Kokopon Rabaul, few showers. Kimbe, some showers and possible thunderstorms. Boka, few showers. To the Highlands region, all centers, some showers and possible thunderstorms. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands to Kerama to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samari Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Samari Island to Cape Vogel and all Millen Bay Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finchafen, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Finchafen through VTS Strait to Siasi Long Islands, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of Long Island to Medang to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of New Britain to New Ireland, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Looking at the ocean forecast, Coral Seas smooth to slight, southeast winds of 5 to 15 knots. Solomon Seas slight, westerly to northwest winds of 10 to 15 knots. Bismarck Seas slight, northwest to northerly winds of 10 to 15 knots. Pacific Ocean, See slight northeast to northwest winds of 10 to 15 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Saturday, the 9th of March, 2024. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.